Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. The Irish Spaghetti Podcast. Like and subscribe. Please enjoy the show.
Born for greatness, but separated by birth, they have found each other once more. They will hunt, tracking game like a Cherokee Indian. No girls allowed. A complete rebuke of the feminine man paradigm. With great penis comes great responsibility. Look out, world. Real men are back. Total badasses. There will be guns. There will be violence. Step aside, John Wick. On December 7th, get ready for Irish Spaghetti. Eat shit and die.
Yes, yes. Oh wait, I'm screaming.
I'm gonna rip your head off and shit down your neck.
Am I fucking this up?
No. I can cut anything, dude. This is all gonna be gold.
You could cancel me out in the background anyway, right? Okay.
This is fucking hilarious, man. Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Irish Spaghetti Podcast. We're your hosts, Billy G, Nikki P. Nick, how are you?
All things considered, I'm very well, my friend.
Yeah, man, you're a trooper, man.
You came in clutch.
Yeah, dude, and you know what? I'm telling you this right now. This guy's been sick for a good minute, and he still pulled through.
Still sick now. I'm being held together by a drug cocktail of cough syrup, ibuprofen, hot tea, and something that rhymes with schmatterall.
Yes. That's what got us going.
That's the only thing that's getting me through this, man. I'm still pretty fucked up, but I feel good right now. You got to numb the pain and keep moving forward like a man.
You got
Like a man.
You got it.
I'm so happy to be back.
And I'm telling you this right now, man. We've been away for a hot second. There was a lot going on in life, but I'm telling you, we missed this and we missed you guys. So good
Yeah.
stuff, man.
Sorry to take so long in between episodes, but sometimes life happens.
Yeah.
Billy G's sister had a newborn baby. He has a nephew now.
Baby Sonny, man.
Baby Sonny.
Oh, dude, you should see this guy. You're gonna meet him, but he's such a good guy, man. He's such a good guy, you know.
I remember when you texted me, like, look at the jawline on this kid.
Yeah,
look
no,
at this mug.
dude. This mug, he looks like a boxer. You should see him, dude. He just had this mean little mug on the whole time. It was really funny, you know. But what's crazy is that my mom was born on March 18th. My dad passed away March 19th, and then Sonny was born the 20th.
No shit.
This all
was like a
happened,
lineage
yeah.
thing here.
Isn't
That's kind of
that
cool,
crazy,
actually.
right? Yeah, you know what I mean? We
That's
were all
interesting.
really tripped out about that. The day my dad passed away is the day that Ginger's water broke.
No shit.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
And you know how we are with the universe and signs and all
Dude,
that. I
is
like
that not the
synchronicities, man.
craziest thing? Yeah, man. You know what I mean? So,
Fascinating.
yeah, man. So, Sonny, welcome to the world, bud.
Welcome to the world. Welcome to the Irish Spaghetti family, Sonny. You're going to be on the show one day.
Oh, he's a good kid, dude. Super good kid, man. He doesn't. She was there for 2 nights. He didn't cry a lot, which is good.
She got lucky on that, man.
Yeah. Kimmy never cried neither, though. I think
You were telling me she's a sweet one.
Yeah, we're really like mild-tempered or mild-tempered people. You know?
Yeah,
what
as
I
you could tell
mean?
by the show.
I know.
Really
I know.
mild-tempered.
No, but not like crazy mad. Does that make sense? Like I was never the one that was like, I would never be the one at the bar.
So you're not
like,
volatile.
Yeah, like Billy, calm down. Like I was never gonna be that guy ever. I feel silly fucking doing that. You know what I mean?
It feels weird drinking tea.
Yeah.
This is the very first episode. Every time you see me, I'm always pounding coffee because I'm just a guinea New York Italian fuck. And it's just like I drink like a pot a day.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where I'm drinking hot tea instead of coffee, and it's just a little odd.
2 cups every episode that we start, because obviously you start like getting your rituals together and stuff. And every time I look to the left, Nick has his table all set up. There's always 2 cups of hot, piping hot coffee next to him.
And only one of them stays hot. I don't even know why I bother.
Really, you don't drink the
Well,
second one?
I drink it, but
Or
by the
just
time I
in
get to it, it's
case?
just like room temperature,
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
But
You know what I noticed that you do though, and it's funny because I mean I'm sure all coffee drinkers do it, but I always noticed that my dad would always, when his coffee would go, he goes to the microwave, he puts it in for 1 minute.
That's what I do.
You do
Dude,
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
You have to. Oh my God. I used to have this thing. It was amazing, man. And it was just a coffee mug warmer. So it's a coaster that had like batteries
Yeah.
or you could plug it in or whatever. But batteries is the way to go. You don't want a fucking extension cord with you all the time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you would just turn it on. And when you set the coffee on it, it would just keep the mug warm.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
It was
That's
amazing.
absolutely super dope.
But they should
man.
just make a mug that does that. Like, I don't understand why that's not just like a built-in feature.
You know what?
There's gotta be. There's gotta be.
And I don't know why, but like if I were to get a coffee, it's probably gonna be like a frappuccino. I know, super fucking gay, but I'd probably get
Yeah.
a cappuccino and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't know. Hot
Sorry,
drinks.
guys.
I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan of hot drinks. Like even cocoa and stuff like that. I don't know.
Big fan.
Yeah,
Dude, apple cider, hot apple cider all day. Hot Dr. Pepper, which sounds weird, but my friend's mom used to make it. It was delicious.
I always think of
Put
Blast
lemon in
from
it,
the
dude.
Past.
That's so good.
That's what Christopher Walken drank at Blast Fest. And I always thought to myself, I thought, that might be good.
It's delicious.
They didn't just make that up
No.
and then run with it. I think Dr. Pepper used to have a thing where they were like, try it hot. You know what I mean? Just like
that wouldn't surprise me, like a marketing tool.
yeah, candy bars are always like, try it frozen. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was good, man. I liked it.
Yeah, man.
So, you know what, though? During the break, though, we weren't just resting on our laurels. We didn't get nothing done. On the last episode, we talked about making business cards. And Billy,
Yes.
in the flesh,
I'm your Vanna White
I was
here.
snot dripping out of my nose over the keyboard designing these cards. So here we go up higher. There we go. Get a little closer. Yeah, hold it out a little bit more.
Pull it out. And then hold on, I'll show you this one too.
So that's our regular business card, and then we made ones that are magnets that go on fridges. And yeah, that's pretty good. It says scan to view our channel right there. You got the QR code ready to go. And we also just made, right before we fired this up, we just made stickers. So we have 200 of them coming. We're going to go all over town and slap them everywhere, man. We're having a good time with this. Time to market. Get the Irish Spaghetti name out there. We are here to stay.
And if you see our stickers around town, take a picture of them and send it into our email.
That would be hilarious, actually. I would love that. If you're in Vegas, if you're in Vegas, we're based in Vegas.
Like some type of like big, like, what was that? Like, not a treasure hunt, but what's the other one that they have? Scavenger hunt.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, that's a great idea. We should do an Irish Spaghetti scavenger
Dude,
hunt
wouldn't that be
one
cool if
day.
they're just driving down the street and they see it and they pull over?
Like, remember O&A had, what was it, the WOW shirts?
Whip 'em out Wednesday.
Whip 'em out Wednesday. Yeah. If for those of you that watch the O&A show, they used to have a Whip 'em out Wednesday thing where if someone they had the sticker, the bumper sticker,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and you would say what? How did it, you would honk or you go
you
wow?
would honk, and then the girl would pull her titties out.
Yeah, man, yeah.
And she would flash whoever was driving by. You know what's funny is that, so we love O&A, especially Anthony Kobe, but we grew up on those guys. We've said it before, but it's funny because that's when the Howard Stern with those guys, the beef started with those guys.
Around the same time?
Yeah, so they had that, and that was like really taken off.
shit.
Yeah, and Howard Stern got on there, and he's like, what do you guys think that's original? He's like, let me tell you something. He's like, we used to tie a bandana to our what's that called with that for the satellite antenna. And he'd say we used to tie a bandana. I know my head's gone.
We're not the sharpest today, folks. We'll get back.
And he would tie a bandana, and that meant to flash it. Howard, shut up. Are you kidding? What does that have anything to do with Whip 'em out Wednesday?
No bullshit, because Howard was like the man. He was the megalodon in the ocean. But O&A really drew out like the insecurities of that man.
Yeah.
They really showed who he really is on the inside when he's challenged. He's a petty, narcissistic, insecure fuck.
Yes.
For as powerful as he is and for great a show as he did, and for like literally he carved the path for a lot of radio jocks and shock jocks. He did a great thing in this world, but man, that guy's got a fucking ego.
Yes, and
Crazy.
with one word, he used to destroy the careers of
Maybe
people. With
blackballing
one word,
people.
he was O&A was the only one that he couldn't stomp out that fire. In fact, when he did go to town with them and they went in, they started talking about his daughter on some new off-Broadway nude show and stuff like that. I mean, they were going crazy.
They flamed him.
Crazy.
He got torched.
Flamed them. Howard, they come in that Monday. They had that show. They've been murdering them for like a few weeks now. They're only getting more popular. They're getting a lot of hate because of the Stern fans, but they're only getting more popular. They come in that Monday, and sure enough, K-Rock and then whoever they were going to next had a gag order for them.
I remember that, dude. I remember that, and they lit him up on the show for that too.
They did. How dare you, dude?
Howard.
All the shit you've said about people, the horrible things that you've said about people, and you're all about the free
You can't
speech
handle a
thing.
little competition, bro.
Yeah, that
Just
was
a little.
ridiculous.
Also, side note, by the way, for part of our comeback tour, because it had been so long in between episodes, we're doing back-to-back today and tomorrow.
Boom, baby.
So I'm going to drop this episode out tomorrow, obviously, and then we're going to shoot again, and there'll be another episode the next day because we want to catch up on content.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys know that we're still here. We're still going strong. We get stronger every single day.
And we're going to be wilding out by tomorrow. I promise you that.
Oh, my God. We're going to have such a fun time, man. Hell yeah. So what do we got on the docket today,
Dude, so
Billiam?
we got good stuff on the docket today. You know what, Nick? I'm telling you, I say this all the time. We're really like finding out like what we're good at talking about and stuff. I got some really fun subjects today. Some really good subject matter.
Outstanding.
All right, man. I'll tell you what. We'll go topical first, man. I got you know what, Nick? I wanted you to get your detailed, like, max opinion on this because I've been really thinking about it lately. You tell me. Donald Glover says, and please kind of stay in your chair because I know it's going to freak you out.
Let me brace myself.
Yes, he says, Donald Glover says Chevy Chase called him the N-word on the set of Community.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
It's probably right.
Moving on. We have...
That's all these type of topics are worth, by the way.
That's all.
It's probably right.
The guy's an asshole. What are you going to do to him? I mean, what do you want? You know what?
Guess what? If you just wait for about 3 days, he'll be dead anyways.
Exactly.
Give him a break.
Where's he going? You know?
He's a relic from the past.
Dude, he's already established. If you were to like say, all right, Chevy, you're never making another movie or show again. First of all, nobody would even notice. Number two, who cares? Not him. He's already made his money.
Also, like if I was Donald Glover, and I'm a huge fan of his, by the way, that guy's remarkably talented. I love Donald Glover.
Yeah.
But I would have never said a word because I'm not a fucking pussy, man. I can handle myself. If some 900-year-old guy calls me a name, I don't care what that name is.
Yeah.
Number one, all right, and I know there's a lot of other people that are like this out there, so you'll probably resonate with this. At least for me, I can't be offended by people that I don't have any respect for. Like if I don't respect your opinion or like your intelligence or whatever the case may be, if you say whatever you want to say to me, I'm just going to look at you like you're an idiot and move on with my life. It won't even register. And that's how you beat people like Chevy Chase or any other asshole out there. Don't even let it register. You give him power by talking about it. How weak are you? Yeah. The man says a word and you fall apart. He'll be dead in 6 days like we just said anyways. Who gives a shit? If anything, he probably wanted to get his name in the news. You probably helped him out.
Yeah, really. Any type of publicity.
That narcissist. Call me a name and I'm going to literally smirk at you like you're nothing to me.
It means nothing.
Like how John Jones doesn't even make eye contact with his opponents. Get out of here.
I think especially when it comes to the M-bomb like that, though, I'm going to tell you this right now. Black people are the strongest people I know, and I'm not joking. There's no doubt. There's goofy types of people in every single... Black people, the women, the men, they're very strong. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you this right now. I think they're being
give us too much power.
Yeah, they're being taught to like really care about that.
To react to it.
Dude, if they got rid of that, honestly.
But you're giving us
like
way too much power, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are trendsetters. You're cool as fuck. We can't dunk. You can. All kinds of shit that you could do better than a lot of people in general. The last thing you got to do left is just become self-possessed and just don't let this shit get to you, man. Yeah. Like why?
You get into a fight, you go to jail.
You were born, you're 6 years old with a fucking six-pack. You know what I mean? You could already dunk on a regulation-sized hoop. You're faster than 90% of the population. You're talented as fuck. You're cool. You got natural rhythm. You got so many blessings. And then what? Some goofball says something to you and you just fall apart.
There's no reason for it.
You're better than that.
Don't give them that Achilles
I'm Italian,
heel.
man. Call me a guinea wop, greaseball, fuck bastard. I don't care what you call me, if you would. But my confidence is unshakable.
Yeah.
If you're someone who I don't have any respect for, you're not going to get to me. If anything, you just make yourself look like a clown.
And we get that there's no atom bomb like the N-word because all the history.
Yeah, we get it, but we don't.
But
yeah.
you know what? I'm telling you this right now. Make it to where that.
But you
shit
guys are
don't mean
cool,
nothing
dude.
Anyway, yeah,
You're cool. Just keep being cool and just let all that shit just die away. Don't give it life by reacting to it.
The most emulated people on earth. All that
This is so
culture
dope,
that comes
bro.
out. I'm telling you right now. All that culture's come out. Probably started.
We were
there,
talking
man.
about this right before the show. I used to be a skateboarder growing up. We owned a skateboard shop in my family. Like I was deep into that culture. But during my generation, that's when Chad Muska had popularized hip hop and gangster rap in the world of skateboarding. Because before that, it was all rock and it was like taboo to like hip hop.
Yeah.
But I came up during the time to where that was cool. So I'm like deeply rooted in that culture, even like as a skateboarder, you know, and all that stuff. Like that was a big part of my life. And we looked up to those guys. They changed the whole game of everything. So to see them like fall apart when someone speaks a word to them is kind of, you know, I don't blame it. It's the TV's making it happen, man.
Yeah.
Like you just talked about, they're getting gaslit and, you know, told
then they
that
feel
they
they
should be
have to
freaking out.
react to something
But you
and
don't, man.
shouldn't, no.
Do what you all want to do. You guys got it right.
I mean, we're white people, and we gave you basketball, but it's okay. You guys could have it.
We didn't give it to them. Like, we just can't take it back.
Once they let black guys on the court, it was pretty much over from there.
That's like before we had all the Eastern Europeans coming and dominating combat sports. Like I'm a boxing enthusiast, so like going way back into the olden days, like when Jack Johnson came around. They didn't want black people to be the heavyweight champ or the world champions or anything like that. So they would keep like grooming these white guys to come in and take their belt.
'em.
The Great White Hope. There would always be a new Great White Hope, and like time and time again, they just got knocked the fuck down.
Yeah, they sent in Jerry
After
Corey
Marciano,
with,
it was over.
Yeah,
It was over.
They sent in Jerry Corey with Muhammad Ali, and everybody's like, "This is it. Here
It's
we
hilarious.
go." Oh, man, that was like his easiest fight. Don't get me wrong, I like him, but come on, dude, that dude didn't stand a chance getting him ring.
No, he
with
got
him, dude.
bludgeoned.
No way. Speaking of fight talk, man,
Dude, we got some. By the way, I was thinking about this too. We got some great fights coming up. Not just the one that just passed. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that as well.
Yeah.
But you got Masvidal, Gilbert Burns. You got David Benavidez, Caleb Plant boxing on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you got Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia coming up soon too. And Devin Haney is going to be fighting Lomachenko, and Teofimo Lopez is going to be fighting Josh Taylor.
Damn, where have all these dudes been? Are you kidding me?
Murderers.
Dude, I really hope boxing's making a
I
comeback.
can't wait. That's
It can.
By the way, shout out to Teofimo Lopez because he's the front runner. He's the one that made that shit happen, man.
Yeah.
He took Vasily Lomachenko on all the hard fights coming up, and they said he wasn't ready. Beat all these guys. He paved the way to show people like just stop being a pussy. He fights for legacy. He's not all about this business horse shit.
This dude showed me highlights of him, and I fell in love. What a knockout
What a talent.
artist.
What a talent.
Dude. Oh my God.
Ugh. And he's
like
had
Da
some
Vinci
missteps.
of just
It's
just
unbelievable.
checking chins,
It's
dude.
unbelievable.
Good night.
Power in both hands. I haven't seen such natural and raw talent like that since Roy Jones Jr. No bullshit. But he has a problem because he's got a lot of problems with his family, so he's in his head a lot. So he lost recently a fight that he shouldn't have lost, but he was also very, very sick in that fight. He had like a hole in his heart or some shit when he fought that fight against George Kambosos, the second fight. Oh no, the first fight.
But is that heart
They only fought
condition
once.
going to be an issue for going forward?
I doubt
you
it. No,
know?
like I think he's fully healed from that. But also he moved up weight classes and he didn't look like the world beater he looked like. Even though he won, we're so used to seeing him just dominate outright that even when he has a remotely tough fight, we think that maybe he's lost it. But what I think is this. I think that Teofimo Lopez, because there's different types of
But
fighters.
he did win, right?
Yeah, he won.
Okay.
But he's one of these guys where he fights up to the level of competition he's facing. Like if he's in there with someone that doesn't challenge him, I think he gets bored and complacent and kind of just like walks him down and just does like a one-dimensional fighting style. Like he thinks he could just blow through him. And Tyson Fury was like that a lot too, actually.
Yeah.
So if you put him in there with a world beater, he becomes a world-beating world beater.
Yeah.
Like, so I think he's one of those guys. And if he beats Josh Taylor, we'll know because Josh Taylor is a remarkable champion. So, and the guys that he fought that he kind of struggled with before were not nearly as good as Josh Taylor. But that same thing happened in the past. Sorry, I'm getting on a boxing tangent here.
Please.
So Teofimo Lopez was on a tear. When I show you that highlight reel, that's just he was just knocking fools the fuck out in beautiful fashion too. Not lucky. He picks his shots. You can see him looking and setting them up. He's great with the traps and everything like that. He's very, very selective. Excellent placement on his punches. Just a great mind for boxing in general. But then he fought a guy named Nakatani, this tall Asian dude, and he didn't look great in that fight. And that guy is not like, he was undefeated at the time, Nakatani, but he wasn't a talent like a Teofimo.
Yeah.
He was expected to get his ass whooped by Teofimo, and it was a tough night for him. So everyone thought, oh, maybe he's just a hype train, this is that. But then he fought Comey, Richard Comey. And I showed you that highlight where he overhand rights him in like the second round.
Yes.
World-class champion, granite chin, known for his toughness, never been stopped, crazy power, a legit champion, and just ethers him, and then he goes on to beat Vasily Lomachenko next convincingly. So I think he might be one of those guys where he just gets complacent, man.
He was the first boxer that I ever seen. Like, have you ever seen a boxer training and he's hitting the heavy bag like this? Okay, you don't actually use that in a fight. It's
no, that was David Benavidez.
Oh, is that who you were showing me?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
I showed
my
you Teo
God.
also. You're talking about. You were right about talking about Teo. But David Benavidez is the one with the machine gun punch where he does that to people
I've
in
never
fights.
seen anything like that. That is a training exercise to pick up speed and power, and you
no
don't
one
use it in a
uses
fight. Homeboy used it in a fight. It's almost like if Liu Kang went in the ring and did the bicycle kick, and you're just like, what? What just happened? It was nuts.
You do like, you'll see boxers do a shoe shine to the stomach where they do like the quick rapid punch to the stomach and then come up top.
Yeah.
But you never see someone do it to someone's face.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And David Benavidez literally knocked a guy out doing that shit.
And not only that, doing it to somebody's face, but to a trained boxer, somebody who's lethal with their hands, that knows to guard yourself at all times. You're literally getting in there, going like this and making a mockery.
Do you remember
out of them?
the guy's head was literally rolling back, back and forth?
His cheeks were flapping back, boom, boom, boom.
But,
so they were hurting too.
Oh, absolutely. No, he absolutely, man.
Unreal.
Absolutely. And there's an accumulation of punishment that goes with that. But this fight on Saturday, Benavidez versus Plant, I'm a tremendous David Benavidez fan. I love the guy. He reminds me, everyone calls him the Mexican monster, but for those of you that know boxing history at all, he reminds me of a guy named Max Baer. And Max Baer was the protagonist in Cinderella Man.
Yeah. To what's his name? James Braddock.
James Braddock, yes.
Yeah.
So Max Baer was known for just, he enjoyed getting hit. Like, he would walk guys down. He had crazy, devastating power. He would take fights not that seriously until it became serious for him. And Benavidez reminds me of that because you'll see him in there, just a big dude, similar style, walks you down, nice combination punching, crazy hand speed and shit like that. But he likes to fight. You'll see him get hit and he smiles and just keeps coming. Like, he reminds me so much of Max Baer.
Talk him out of it, May. He's going to get hurt.
Mexican Max Baer, that's what I call him. Everyone else calls him the Mexican monster. But that fight's going to be great. And also, don't count Caleb Plant out. I have Benavidez winning that fight. Most people do. I mean, that's really where it should be.
Yeah.
But Caleb Plant is a monstrously talented fighter, and people underestimate him just because he got beat by Canelo. Number one, he got beat by Canelo. He got knocked out in the last round.
Who doesn't get beat by
But he
Canelo?
also, it was a 50-50 fight for most of that fight. He stayed in there with Canelo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he has great foot. He has great feet and great hand speed. He's got reasonable pop. He's not a knockout artist. He's not known for that, but he also doesn't sit down on his punches very often. So I bet you he hits harder than people even realize. Kind of like Floyd.
Yeah.
Like when Floyd wants to bang, he can, but he's on his toes. Whap, whap, zaps you and gets out of there.
Yeah.
But Caleb Plant's a real one, man. He could fight. His only loss is to Canelo Alvarez.
Speaking of Canelo, and I could see it broke his heart because this kid looks up to him. Everybody looks up to Canelo in boxing right now. But Canelo, he took Gervonta Davis to win, and Ryan Garcia, they asked about it, and you could see in his face, he's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's
they kind of had a bit of a falling out, Ryan Garcia and Canelo.
I'll take Garcia. I'm taking Garcia. I think that he's going to upset this. Dude, Gervonta Davis is a monster, but my
mind is telling me Gervonta, but I'm kind of feeling like, I don't usually use feelings to call fights, but let's put it this way. That fight is a lot closer than people realize.
Yes.
And that's a 50-50
pick 'em fight.
Kid
out.
Now, will I give the edge to Gervonta? Slightly, because he has the better feet. And footwork matters a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Ryan likes to stand tall and he kind of likes to plod forward. He's kind of flat-footed in that way. He doesn't bounce. He's not like a lateral guy, if you will.
Yeah.
But that reach and that power and that speed and that accuracy, and he's way taller than Gervonta Davis, so he could pick him off from the outside, and he throws that left hook at like 700 miles an hour. It's absurd. So they're both in real danger, but also, and this is very telling, Gervonta Davis, he put a clause in the contract. This is how you know that he knows he's in danger.
Yeah.
Where he had to cut weight extra, like he had to come down extra pounds. I forgot exactly. It's like a catch weight, but he had to come down extra. But also they have a rehydration clause where he can't rehydrate up to a certain point. So he's literally, and also, I think I read something about he can't eat or drink for like 2 days leading up to the fight. So
Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, he's literally, and Ryan, this is how confident Ryan is, by the way.
signed?
God bless you, Ryan Garcia, a dope motherfucker. He signed that contract because he was like, you know what? You're trying to make me not fight you, basically. And he was like, I want this fight. So he made every concession to get in there. Took less money. I'm sure that Gervonta picked the ring size. He probably picked the gloves they're fighting in. You know what I mean? He gave him that rehydration clause. He has to cut weight. And Ryan said yes to all of it, man. So hats off to you, Ryan Garcia. Good luck in there, buddy. I actually want to see Ryan pull it off. I love Gervonta too, but I want to see Ryan pull this one off.
I love that kid.
Just because of what he's going through.
Yeah. If he took 48 hours and he ate like a maniac, just steak, he could go in there a much bigger
also you
man,
get those
dude.
IVs. You get a couple of banana bags going. You rehydrate up, fucking, literally to the tune of like 20 pounds.
That's what Nate did with this Conor McGregor too. We were talking about him earlier.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden it's like Nate comes out, they're the same weight. You know, Bubba throws it up. Nate's this skinny dude. A day later, that fool walks in there, and I remember at the very end of that fight, Conor McGregor's like, "That man was not 170 pounds." He's like, you know what I mean? Like he was a monster in that, dude. You know? That's why those lanky guys always got the advantage with that reach, man, because they fill up over.
I gotta say though, man. I'm tired of weight bullies.
Yeah,
that shit gets old. You
when
see it so much.
Yeah,
like dude, you're 6'4", you're fighting at 135. Like,
yeah, and it's boring.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah, and it's boring.
It's not only is it boring, but like, don't you understand that tarnishes your legacy? It's not a fair fight.
Yes,
you're taking an advantage. You have like a 6-inch reach advantage. Then you rehydrate up. You're like 20 pounds heavier than the guy that you're fighting on fight night. Dude, just fight in your weight class.
Yeah, imagine. And you're so funny. It's like you look at Mike Tyson.
Tiny heavyweight,
tiny little heavyweight going in there,
height wise, not
banging.
He's big everywhere, but
dude, even his first fight with what's his name, when he won the
Larry Holmes
with Larry Holmes
towered over him,
still like 2 feet
towered over him,
much bigger man, and Mike Tyson goes in there, boom, peekaboo.
But here's the thing,
is that why he used the peekaboo? Because
yes,
they were so big.
Yes, and the bob and weave, that was literally custom model created that style.
Unreal.
Unreal. Dude, it's crazy. And that whole style was designed to neutralize those tall guys and things like that. It's amazing.
Dude,
you can't, let me put it this way, you'll never see Lennox Lewis doing that and getting inside and dropping. Like, you know what, you're too big. You can't do it that way.
Yeah, he does the fundamentals
he took that height or whatever and turned it into a weapon. He made it an asset.
Has anybody else ever mastered the peekaboo style, or just Mike?
Not the way that Mike is the shining definition of it.
Yeah, because it just like nobody's gonna go out and fight just like Ali. I mean, there might be guys that go. Nobody's gonna throw a punch with your arm completely turned this way, knocking out heavyweights.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane,
also, that footwork is specific to Ali. Ali's style is cultivated mostly by Ali. You know what I mean? That's his style.
Variations. You
don't learn that in a boxing gym. Let's put it that way. There's no gym you can go to and go, hey, I want to fight like Muhammad Ali. You're not gonna learn that shit. Peekaboo is a style that others have used. Winky Wright had a great peekaboo.
He had a good run. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I liked it. Dude, Winky Wright was dope.
Yeah.
But there are people that have used that style, but yeah, not like Mike Tyson, dude.
Winky Wright was the last boxer that I remember when boxing was like kind of like UFC was coming up and boxing was going down, at least in the States. Mm-hmm. Winky Wright was the last fighter where I was like, dude, that dude's something. I honest to God don't know what happened to him. Did he have a good run?
I don't remember. I used to stay up to date with it, but I have to go back and look at that story again.
He was like that good-looking dude, good-looking light-skinned bro. You know what I mean?
He was dope.
Yeah.
But like real quick, just back to Ryan Garcia real fast. Ryan Garcia, if he has the right game plan, should actually win that fight against Gervonta Davis. So here's the thing: if you know boxing or you know these fighters at all, for those of you that don't, I apologize. We nerd out on this shit.
Yeah.
But so Gervonta Davis, his thing is he's an excellent counterpuncher. He's very patient. He's great with setting traps, and he doesn't waste any energy. He's not a volume punching guy. He's not going to bulldoze you and try to rush you down and beat you up with just work rate in general. He picks his shots well. He takes his time. He usually doesn't throw a lot of punches until the middle rounds. He waits for you to make a mistake, but he has that cannon of power. You know what I mean? So when he does hit you, you're either getting knocked out or you're very, very hurt. So he only needs to land a handful of punches to beat you. But oftentimes he's behind on points. Yeah. And he knocks the guys out. So if I was Ryan wants to knock him out, which I understand because he's also a knockout artist too. He has very, very respectable power, close to Gervonta's. Not quite the same, but respectable. So if he doesn't try to focus on getting the knockout and he just boxes him from the outside and he just is jab heavy, if he relies on his jab more than anything else and works his power punches in with it, he has a very, very high chance of winning that fight. If not on points, then by knockout or maybe late stoppage, but at the very least on points.
Has either suffered any big knockouts?
No. They're both undefeated.
This is gonna be
which is great.
good.
They're
This
both
is gonna be so
undefeated
good.
and in their primes.
Yes.
Finally.
Dude, finally, dude.
Finally.
I don't gotta watch 50-year-old Floyd doing
Fight
my
90-year-old
God, yes.
Pacquiao.
Come on, boxing. Come on. You're here.
They do the ring walk with fucking walkers.
Dude, you know what, dude? Honestly, I always loved boxing. Always. It just
best.
became a cesspool for like corruption and stuff like that. But if they could bring it back and really put some class on it, come on.
Just like
baby.
everything else in the world, it always gets ruined by some type of governing body. Governments are the bane of all existence, is the cancer of every type of society.
Once you make some type of money off of it and somebody gets about some type of
Once it
corporate
gets big,
scheme,
it's got to be small.
Yeah.
Small. They can't have the power. They have to be like, like errand boys for us.
Yeah.
Pave
yeah.
our roads.
But that's when it's at its best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Just like when you were watching football and they were in leather helmets, ending up in wheelchairs and stuff like that. I'm positive Super Bowl 1 was a whole lot more spectacular than Super Bowl 50. You know what I mean?
Just a vegetable after 2 games.
Speaking of stepping up in weight class, Michael Jordan's son Marcus is dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Bro, is that bad, dude?
Again, like, this is
know?
where I'm split, because if I was him, if I was the kid, I'd be like, hell yeah, I just hit a home run. It's just wild. To do that is just crazy. Like, that's got to be, we're dogs, right? Guys are animals. Like, we have our little bucket list, but so do girls. It's like, oh, I want to sleep with a midget before I die or some shit like this. You can't say midget.
Yeah.
So anyway, that has to be some kind of trophy. Like, when you're playing a video game and you get like I found all the fucking Easter eggs trophy. That's gotta be some kind of trophy. But that's gotta be driving Michael Jordan insane.
Dude, I think so. And I'm telling you this right now. Look, you're Michael Jordan's son, dude. I'm positive that kid runs the ass like crazy.
Sorry, guys.
You got Scottie Pippen's ex, who's like literally like a 10. Like
Is she still?
Porn star.
Is she
looking.
still a 10?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, she's a little older than him, but not like by much, because obviously Scottie Pippen.
We talking 20 years?
Maybe 10.
Maybe 10.
Yeah,
That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
That's not unreasonable
Not
at all.
at all. But it's like, I don't know. It's like to go for your, like, the legacy that this man and your dad built, to like bring any type of wedge between that. I don't know. Look, who knows? Like, maybe Scottie Pippen's a piece of shit. Maybe they always
Dude,
liked
I hear
each
what
other.
you're
We
saying,
don't
but
know.
if you're that kid and she's coming onto you, you're not gonna do it.
Of course. I just think, I don't know, man. What do you think?
Thirst
Do you think
always wins.
Do you think Michael Jordan has any opinion on it? You know, I mean, he doesn't do interviews and shit like that. Imagine being so successful. You don't do
picture the
interviews.
Michael Jordan crying meme.
Yes.
That's what's coming to mind.
Oh, he's getting married again.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I mean, is it? He lost almost everything in his last.
Whatever,
divorce,
man. If you
know?
like it, I love it. You fool me once doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
nuts.
really.
Then fool me twice.
What if you have so much money? I mean, does he have so much money that it doesn't matter really?
You know what though? I think that the game is different at his age as far as marriage and like being
care
together.
less.
Dude, you're both like 60 years old. You're fading into your twilight years. You just want company and to not be alone anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think it's this whole threat to you like it used to be in your younger years when you were the bill of the ball and all that. And you had many years ahead of you.
He owns his house. He owns his car.
She's just happy to hit the lottery, man. Yeah. She's just happy to hit the lottery. That's it. And he just probably wants someone to talk to. He's probably lonely.
Dude, I'll tell you this.
Guy's a type A lunatic. You know what I mean? I doubt that he connects to a lot of people.
Yeah. Who could have that type of competitive, like, that mindset that Michael Jordan, like we were talking about like Howard Stern and stuff like that. Same thing, like to be one of those juggernauts of whatever you do. Like to be standing at the top of the mountain of whatever you
have to be
choose.
compulsive.
Like Gordon Ramsay. Even if there's better chefs out there, he's the top of the mountain. He's who you look up to and stuff like that. I mean, he's
at the pinnacle of the arts.
Yeah,
you got to give him that.
I mean, do you have to be kind of like run through people? You don't have time to bullshit around with any stupid stuff and stuff like that.
You have to be an extremist in some way, and you have to be
Yeah.
deeply passionate about it.
Yeah.
I understand that because I'm kind of wired that way personally.
I don't know. And listen, we're doing this together, and I want success just like everything. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just couldn't like.
Have you ever been that way with anything in your life?
Sure.
Where you're like so passionate and so serious about it and so detailed and meticulous about it that.
I remember I really so he watches too, but my buddy Anthony, we had like little scuffs here and there and shit like that. Dude's been in prison like most of his life, total monster, you know what I mean? But I remember one time I was over at his house and this girl comes in, and I just was like head over heels for her. We were drinking and stuff like that, and I started talking, and she was like kind of like
gravitating.
Literally like things were like happening, like spark stuff like that. Like holy shit, I was like, And I remember he was wasted really bad. And he started telling a story about me and him got in like this big scrap one time, and I shit my pants. Some dude knocked me,
he literally beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, and he starts telling the most unflattering story, and I'm like, dude, and I remember never feeling like this in my fucking life because I really don't care, whatever, I'll roll off, I don't give a shit. But I remember being so passionate about it, and I was like, dude, I'm like, you can't lift me up. You can't fucking tell her a story about me doing something. Okay, that's never, you know what I mean. And I remember.
Give me the assist, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Let me hit the layup.
Yeah, and he's, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is why I know this dude loves me. Okay, he is an absolute monster. I've seen him. I've been in every fight, every scar I have on my face had something to do with him and stuff like that.
But you watched him destroy people.
I've watched him destroy people, and I remember he goes, and he wanted to punch me in my mouth. I could see it in his face. And I'm like right in his face because I'm like, and I'm not Mr. Knockout, you know what I mean? And he goes, yeah? He goes, you don't like it? Get the fuck out. And I'm like, typically he'd be locking the door.
Right, so he gave you he gave you an out.
I know I put him in such a bad position.
He gave you the
like
friend discount.
But I'm telling yeah.
That's cool though.
I could have called. He's in Tennessee now, but I could have called this fool for anything. I remember.
He's a rider. I like guys like this.
There was a road rage incident, and I was getting chased.
Minus the cock blocking.
Yeah. Well, it was just that, and usually he's okay. Usually I don't care about stuff like that.
Shit happens, dude. Whatever. You were drinking. You were younger.
Yeah.
Whatever. Shit happens.
So if you're talking about have I ever been so passionate that I actually got crazy for it? Sure.
But that doesn't count. I'm talking about like an endeavor. Like, let me put it this way. I'm going to give you a little backstory on Nikki P. I told you guys were going to get to know us as the show goes on over the years. So when I was a little kid, even like when I wanted to do something, if something caught my interest, I don't care what it was. If it's video games, skateboarding, learning how to shoot pool. I'll give you for instance, when I wanted to learn how to skateboard, I was probably like 13 years old. My brother started skateboarding. He's 2 years older than me. And I took an interest in it. And I saw them doing tricks. And I got my skateboard. My parents got me one. And I remember I literally went outside every day. Every single day, all day, I'm talking to the tune of like between like 14 and 16 hours. And I was just trying to ollie, like trying to just teach myself how to ollie every day for weeks. My feet would have blisters on them. I wouldn't stop. Sometimes I would get so weak I would forget to eat that I would almost pass out, and I would go inside just to eat. And I would eat like bologna at the fridge, just like stuff my face just to get my strength back and run back outside and do that day in and day out for months, years. That's how I was with the same thing with pool. When I started getting obsessed with pool, my dad's friend Morris came over, and he was an older gentleman, really good pool player. He taught me the base of the game. And once I fell in love with that game, you can ask Edgar about this, our mutual friend of ours that we work with. Yeah. But we would play pool. I'm not bullshitting. An average to a minimum of a few hours a day, an average of 6 to 8 hours a day. I would wake up, and I'm not a morning guy. I'm a guy who goes to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. I've had insomnia my whole life, crazy energy, like I said before, just a type A nut job. I wake up at 5 in the morning and go to Mickey's and play for hours and run drills by myself for I still do it. I still do to this day. When I wanted to learn how to box, my dad was into boxing. We had a heavy bag in the garage, and he tried to keep me away from it when we were younger. He didn't want us to get into it, but I just took a natural interest in it. Kind of got into it a little bit later when I was, maybe 16, 17, somewhere around there. But I remember when I wanted to learn my left hand is garbage. I have no coordination with my left hand. I was trying to teach myself how to throw a jab. I had no power and no snap. I remember I tied my hand behind my back, and it was a canvas bag. And I had like just these we didn't have like good boxing gloves. I had like just the knuckle covering bag gloves at the time. And I would just sit there and just throw jabs. Boom. Boom.
Perfect.
Boom. In Las Vegas, in the heat, in the garage, I remember I would hit the bag, sweat would fly off my face onto the bag, and I would be there for hours. My wrists would be hurting. My knuckles would be busted off. There was blood all in the gloves. I had scabs on my knuckles, and I would do that every day. Just boom, boom, boom for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I've always been an obsessive nut job in that way. So I understand that Michael Jordan shit. Yeah. Like I've never been like violent and angry, but I've been exceedingly determined, and I put an inordinate amount of work rate into things that I care about.
I don't look like
that's
that
just a couple of stories, by the way.
Like if you're literally
it wasn't
raging
anger.
to like get something.
It was intensity. It's just a very intense, but like it's just like I'll sacrifice my health for things that I care about. I feel like I said, like I often forget to eat when my mind is going. Even like when I'm reading books or studying and I'm writing on my whiteboard and teaching, like when I was teaching myself finance, I would stay up all night long just reading finance books, teaching myself about market equilibriums, by myself with my headphones in, go to work with black circles under my eyes, come home, do it again. Like just wild shit like that. I've always been hyper intense. Look at like when we were putting the show together, you saw a glimpse, a small glimpse, by the way. Even that, like you actually are good at being a governor for me. You mitigate that to a certain degree, which
Yeah.
I really appreciate, because I will literally get sick pursuing whatever it is that I want to do.
He was sick and he wanted to do a show, and I remember I
I'm still seeing here right now.
I don't make too many executive decisions, but I did. I called it. I'm like, nah, man, listen. There's a time and a place, and this just ain't it right now. You know what? That's why we're coming to you with episode 21, and isn't this like a good? You know,
I'm happy you made
all
me
of our
wait,
stuff's
though.
update. Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. So that's something that's either in you or not. So
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that no one else does anything if they don't do it to that degree.
No,
it's,
no.
it's a two-edged sword. It's obsession. It's unhealthy, but it's also where greatness comes from. You don't have, all right, so whenever you see an imbalance in any direction, whether it be bad or good, that's what that is. So when you see a guy like Michael Jordan that can fly through the air and dunk from half the court away, that had to be paid for by something in the inverse proportion. That doesn't come from nowhere.
Those late
You
nights
don't-
with his dad.
Dude, you don't get all the good and none of the bad.
Yeah.
Everyone saw the documentary. He's like screaming at people. His standards are crazy high, perfectionist. You know what I mean? Like that, you have to be that to get that. When you see Leonardo da Vinci's paintings, people don't know this about him, but he literally studied science and anatomy, and he understood like how ligaments attach. He was basically like a doctor.
Got down to the muscle. and the
So when he
tissue.
would paint every layer like as if he was like, he'll paint the bones, and he'll paint the ligaments, and he'll paint the fucking whatever, the skin, and like he literally, and that's why his stuff looks so realistic, because he literally was obsessed with learning about the human body and anatomy and all that. He had a crazy wealth of knowledge. You don't get greatness without an intense amount of pouring in of something, if that makes sense.
And then Picasso's like,
Sorry, my words aren't exactly perfect, so my mind's cloudy.
nah, I'll go. We're flying today. And then Picasso's like, I can do it too. He just puts a nose above it.
He gets famous for that.
That's another thing. You know what though? It's funny because art. You know, you used to look at these beautiful things like the Monets and the Da Vinci's and the Picassos and stuff like that. And you saw this amazing art. Now it's pretty like straightforward and stuff like that. But now everybody, the art game is just them trying to shock one another, like putting like, you know, a banana hanging on like a noose.
It's a mockery,
It's
man.
silly.
Real artists would roll over in their graves.
And you know what? People are so amazing right now. Do amazing pictures. Make some picture that if you look closer, you enter the building. I don't
That would be
know.
super
You know
cool,
what I mean?
actually, yeah.
But I just think it's so funny that humans are so smug and try to blow it up their own butts that they walk in and they see this banana swing, like I said, and they're sitting there thinking like, this is about life and love and, you know, and it peels the
What does
layers,
it
like,
mean to
what does
you?
it mean? Yeah. And it's like, no, it's just a stupid banana.
I'm like, it's garbage.
It's garbage. It's literally garbage. It'll be garbage by tonight when this thing's done. You know, it's got enough.
That's
air.
like Wedding Crashers, which you don't know the reference.
I know.
But his son, everyone knows the reference. His son is the gay painter kid, hilarious. Todd. It wouldn't
Do the
hurt you
thing.
to play competitive sports
You
every
get him,
once in a while.
Todd. Do the
Yeah,
thing.
that's right, Todd. Tell that mean ocean. He's like, fuck you. But he's like, all he does is dribble his blood on the canvas and smear it around with the stick. He's like, and he calls that art.
But that's true, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Garbage.
Everybody thinks they're so deep on something and stuff like that, especially those artsy fartsy types. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I like abstract work. I like creative works like that. Sure, fine. Like
Yeah, like some-
Salvador Dali with the melting clocks and all that. Love
Oh,
that
it's
shit.
so cool.
Still
Yeah.
very, very good.
Yeah.
Psychedelic paintings. I'm a big fan of that. But I mean,
What's his name? You know, the English dude with the soup cans and stuff like that.
I have no clue.
You know, with the soup can, the tomato soup can.
This sounds familiar to me.
Dude, I'm telling you, once I
It's
say
famous,
his
right?
name, yeah.
Is this the guy that painted it
The weird
ironically,
blonde
or
hair, yeah, and then the red green, you know.
there was a painter? I forgot his name. I don't mean,
No, please go.
but I forgot his name. But he was talking about how the art gets bastardized after you become famous and you have a name, and that people will buy anything if your name's attached to it, even if it's garbage.
Yeah.
And to prove that
believe
point,
that.
he goes and he paints a fucking porta potty, like a toilet or something like that, and signs his
bought
name to
it.
it. It's sold for like an inordinate amount of money. He was just like, he was furious.
Yeah,
Like he
this
wasn't
isn't
happy about it.
work. Yeah.
He was like, this is garbage. You're buying it because my name is on it, but it's garbage. He was a purist. I love a good purist.
Yeah, and
Dude,
I
love a good
I like that he
purist.
embarrassed his own people
Yeah,
for
he didn't
trying to
give a
act
shit,
like,
dude.
yeah. Oh God, yeah, man.
Yeah. So
Okay,
moving
let's
on,
see here.
getting our
Moving
chops
on.
back, guys, shaking the rust
Nah,
off.
no worries. Okay, you know what? All right, the next two stories that we're gonna tell, they're connected in a really weird way.
Okay.
So you got Joe Rogan, who's always worked so hard. He's a massive talent.
He's a Michael Jordan type,
Yeah.
by the way. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
what we're talking about, type A nut job.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like look at his accomplishments, man.
He has 8 jobs.
Yeah, Fear Factor wasn't taken off the air because it got boring. Fear Factor was literally taken off there at the top of it, just like Seinfeld, at the top of its game because they ran out of ideas. They were like, listen, we can't keep putting them on a bus every week or flinging them from a plane. It's like they just ran out of ideas. That's literally why Fear Factor got there. That's Joe Rogan.
So they exhausted it.
UFC from the ground up. Yeah, that's Joe Rogan. His amazing comedy specials. Yeah, that's Joe Rogan. News radio with one of the best like sitcoms ever. That's Joe Rogan.
He talks about it in his show. He's like, I get addicted to everything that I like. And I'm the same way. Like when he talks about how he can't play video games because he'll do it for like 16 hours a day. I understand all that shit.
Yeah. He is something, man. That dude is such a talent, such a massive talent. Well, anyways, he's got, just like all massive talents. He has like a lot of hangers on, and it's funny because the one that I think is the most talented, people do not like this guy. Ari Shaffir is like the most talented out of all.
People don't like him?
People, dude, if you would,
I think Ari Shaffir is hilarious.
Don't you think he'd be bigger right now? Dude, he has the
because he chooses not to though.
Ticket.
Yeah, but he chooses to travel the world and backpack, and he's not in the public eye constantly. He's not always pushing for his career. He disappears for months at a time, puts a special out of field. He lives a very special life. He doesn't even have a smartphone. He has a flip phone in his pocket that can only text and call. Like he's not. I don't think that his goal of life is to become mega famous. I think he just makes enough money so he can just travel and live how he likes to live. He has no kids. He likes to see things. He likes to experience.
But he also puts his foot in his mouth a lot too. Like that
the Kobe
Bryant thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you right now,
even
if he went out and he did try to make more money, like built something, stuff like that, they're going to bring that. He's going to be canceled like that. That Kobe's one of those untouchable ones where it's like, first of all, you completely...
Is that why people hate him though? Is off of just that? I know that he had to flee the country for a while.
I'm telling
until the heat died down after he said that shit. Do you want to tell him what happened? For those that don't know.
Oh, for the Kobe thing?
Yeah. For those of you that don't know Ari Shaffir and his backstory.
Yeah, we were pretty much having a conversation.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Right now. No worries. Okay, so here's how this goes, right? So, and this is going, this is connected to everything that we're about to talk about. So Ari Shaffir is Joe Rogan's buddy. He's a massive talent, super good comedian. In my opinion,
he's got that dry acerbic wit.
Yes, and he's very intelligent.
Quick.
That's what I like about him.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's always getting into it. He got into it with Stern and stuff like that. Well, anyways, when Kobe, the helicopter crash happened, and everybody, the whole nation was mourning, and you had all these people like really at their most tender and like vulnerable moment. Ari Shaffir gets on the internet and he starts laughing at the helicopter crash. He said, listen, I'm sorry for the rest of everybody on board. He's like, but I'm not going to sit here and act like that rapist is like, some type of.
He goes, the world lost another rapist or something like
that. And
this.
It was
rough.
bad. It was really rough.
But you know what,
it was hard to watch.
Again, like people are going to hang on, fuck you for like, the guy's a comic. The guys, comics are wild. They say wild shit.
Line.
Let me put it this way. I don't think that he meant to hurt anyone. Was it out of line? Yes. Was it offensive? Very. Did he mean to hurt the entire world? Probably not. You when you say enough things throughout your life, something's going to be the wrong thing that you said, especially when you're always taking risks linguistically. When you're always taking risks in your speech, eventually you're gonna cross a line. It's just inevitable. It's inevitable. Yeah, should he have gotten a lashing? Yes. The blowback that he got justified 100%, but lifelong indictment and hatred? No.
No, but everybody that owns a smartphone thinks they're some type of CEO. I'm gonna tell you right now. Dude, I'm telling you right now. If I was the world's biggest Kobe fan and I'm sitting there crying my eyes out, and I'm telling you, I mean, it's me. Like right now, everything I happen to be like a Kobe fan, right? And I see that, right? I'm not gonna go, I want his job. I'm gonna go, what a fucking asshole, and I'm gonna hang. You know what I mean? Why do people think they have to wield so much power?
Just think about in your own social circles. You know what I mean? We've all were young. We all had friends. We've all been drunk. We've all said dumb shit. I've said some crazy, wild, offensive shit. Obviously, if you can't tell, I'm sorry, I'm swearing a lot today, but if you can't tell, we're pretty edgy in general. I said things where my own group of friends were like, hey man, that was an asshole thing that you said, or you were a dick just then or whatever. And I've been embarrassed and I'm like, you were right. But they didn't cast me out of the community and never be my friend again. I got checked up. I was ashamed for a little bit. I was like, yeah, you're right, man. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. And then forgive, forget, move on. Let's have a good time. Let's go.
I got checked too. This one girl that we were going to school
everyone's
with
been checked,
killed herself.
On
and
Earth.
I remember I said something like as a joke out loud to my friends, and another guy from another group walks over and he goes, hey, you say some shit like that again, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And I'm telling you,
fair, bro.
And I sat there and I looked at him, and I was mad afterwards, but I really understood. I didn't say anything else. And you know what I started thinking?
I like that.
Yeah, I started thinking in my head. I started thinking in my head, you know what? I should really watch my mouth when people are mourning and stuff like that.
We all get out of line
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
But guess what he didn't do? He didn't walk over and say, hey, man, I'm going to knock you out and you should never work again. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell your job. I'm going to get you fired. Your family should disown you. No one should ever speak to you again. Your kids should be ashamed of you. You should be taken to jail.
I'm exposing you.
One of my favorite phrases is like the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
And it never does.
We got to
these
get back
days.
to the punishment fitting the crime.
People want blood, dude, like bad. And you know what's so funny is that it's such a weird thing because it's like, all right, so they want them off the internet, they want them off social media, and then they go on social media, and that's where they air it out and stuff like that. Everything is just this big social media thing. Everybody's looking for likes and stuff. It's weird.
Can we at least do like a good versus bad column? Like, all right, so that guy comes out, whatever. Ari Shaffir comes out and says that shit he said about Kobe, which is completely wrong, and everyone's up in rage and they want him dead or whatever. So now it's like, all right, now we have to go through his history and find out all the great things that he did and put him in the good column, and then all the bad things and put him in the bad column. Does he really deserve this? He probably did more good than bad in his lifetime. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He was one of
aggregate total.
He was one of the people that got Carlos Mencia out of comedy. He does deserve a handshake.
He also did drug one of his best friends. Was it Bert?
Are you serious?
Yeah, he fucking, I think he put LSD or
that's
Molly or
fucked
something.
up,
Yeah, he does. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
But he's a bit of a sociopath. But
He is.
But guess what? His best friend who he did that to, they had like a bit of a falling out over it. They had tension. I don't remember if it was Bert or not, but it ties into the next thing by accident.
Does, yeah.
But at any rate, like they're friends again. He was mad at him for a while. You know what I mean? You pay your penance, you move on. You don't destroy someone's entire person.
And you know what's so funny? As much as like he parties, maybe he did think he would have a good time with it. You know?
I'm sure that's what it was.
I would be kind of pissed off.
I'm sure
though.
it was he wasn't trying to hurt him. It was a
No,
misguided.
of course not. Yeah.
Dude, I played practical jokes that were misguided. Whoops.
Just like I got checked for that, we've all like thought something was going to turn out really funny and it doesn't, and you come off looking like a dick.
Dude,
too.
when I was in elementary school, I watched this show or this movie, and I don't remember what it was, but the guy goes in the movie. And you know that old thing where you make someone look down and then you like do the whoop to their nose?
Yeah.
Well, he did it and he slapped him in the face, and it was like funny in the movie. I went to school, I did that shit. I think his name was Clark, my buddy Clark. I did that and slapped him in the face. I was not the coolest guy in school that day. Like, he got sad. Everyone got like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I was an asshole for that day, more or less.
Yeah.
I didn't know better. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just I know I was a kid then. That's not the perfect parallel reference, but you're never going to stop making mistakes.
Two ways you could go about it.
I felt bad.
Now, after you do it, everybody's
bad.
going, what the fuck's your deal? Like, you know, you could either
Double down,
baby.
Then I
You
clock
start
him.
acting- yeah, you're like, fuck you.
I just drop him instead.
You just start acting like a
Start eating his lunch and just peeing on him.
You know what sucks though, man, is what are you doing? Hey,
Alicia!
what are you doing?
One of my roommates.
Yeah,
She's the
she's
shit.
a bomb, dude. She's a bomb.
Bomb.com.
And you know, it's so funny. It's like, because you're in the moment, in the heat of the moment, it's like you're so embarrassed that you're like, okay, I got to do something more.
Dude, I was paralyzed inside.
And you know what?
With shame.
And you know what's so funny? You never win them over. It's
Never.
not. It's already done. That's why, man. The older you get, you realize that the damage is done. You don't take it any further. Don't try to talk your way out of it. You know,
Just
what?
apologize.
Just apologize
And move on.
and feel that little bit of like embarrassment for like the next hour, and it will move on.
And when I say apologize, here's something that I would like to touch on.
Sincerely
apologize doesn't mean grovel. That doesn't mean get on your hands and knees and hate yourself and beg for forgiveness with tears streaming down your face. And for the rest of you, don't debase yourself. You know, take it like, man, I'm sorry, man. I messed up there.
Mistake.
Shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have done that. It won't happen again. And then guess what? And I mean it. And I feel bad about it. And I mean it. But if you hate me after that, you're the asshole, not me, man.
Yeah.
You're the asshole.
And you know what? Honestly.
Or if you're not going to let it go ever and you're just going to like, dude.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me follow you around and when you make your one mistake, let me ostracise you from all of society. It's inevitable. You're going to do it.
And if we're given that lesson, the truth is that, you know, listen, they say don't be so quick to forgive. Listen, if you've never had an issue with this person before, forgive. Just get over it. Everybody just needs to start acting like adults again.
Yeah,
man.
we don't need
You
to
know
start
what I mean?
picketing over everything.
Yes, dude.
It's like
why are people so like offended about everything? And I know this
Meh.
isn't like some news flash thing, but everybody's just outraged 24/7 every time you turn on the TV. Is it that you know, that fear cells type of thing? And now it kind of turned into this new outrage cells kind of thing.
It's crazy,
You know what I
dude.
mean? Yeah.
It's crazy. The whole thing. Well, it's just, just to drive views and attention watching the TV screen. And that's all it is, man. It's just to get you watching them. That's it.
Yeah.
It's-
Speaking of a never-ending want of attention,
Go ahead.
Bert Kreischer's new movie's coming out.
All right. So Bert Kreischer, we talked about
Yes.
Joe Rogan. Bert Kreischer is in the comedy circle with these guys. Also a friend of Tom Segura's. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Also, I like Bert Kreischer, so
Yes.
I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but it does need to be addressed. Go ahead, Billy.
It's all right. So if you listen, if you've had the internet for longer than 10 years, then you know his machine story. You know, he told some story about in college, they went to Russia. They had to board this train. They wind up having some Russian mobsters on there. And I guess Bert partied with them or something. You know what? I'm telling you right now, when I first heard it, I had a smile on my face the whole time. It was a good story. It really was. It wasn't the most wonderful thing I've ever heard, but it was a damn good story. I would totally give him that.
And that's the shirt off bit that he does, right?
Yeah, you seen it, man. You know, machine. You know, he does the whole thing and stuff like that. All right, Bert Kreischer, his star's kind of dwindling. Now you know him because he hangs out with Joe Rogan from time to time. He's in that circle and stuff like that. We'll talk about really milking it. I think that here's I know this guy goes a little deeper. I think writers are so scared. Was that a child?
No, it was a cat.
Oh, okay. I think writers are so scared to come up with anything new that they'd rather just pass the buck. Because Sebastian Maniscalco
Big fan of his.
has a new movie about Robert De Niro being his dad. I think they're just kind of let the comedians do it. You know, then they'll get whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
they'll take the creative risk.
Exactly, because writers
and I won't
will
get
not,
egg on my face.
Writers will not do anything creative. They won't cross lines. It's just it. So Bert Kreischer, his dad's Mark Hamill in the movie, and you know what the most unbelievable?
So they made a
part
movie
was?
out of this bit called The Machine.
This 3-minute bit.
This tired bit that everyone has heard a trillion times.
Now you have to see the movie about.
Look, I actually think that Bert Kreischer would be a funny guy to know in real life. He'd be cool to have a beer with. I actually think that we would be friends if we hung out. But at the risk of sounding like a complete asshole, he's kind of a one-hit wonder.
Dude, yeah, and I'm telling you right now, if you did go out and drink with him, I promise you.
I'm not saying I'm better than him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I could do what he does, but that's the facts. Like he's not Richard Pryor, man.
Yeah.
He's not a revolutionary, groundbreaking dude. He's just not.
Well, if you came up with that amazing story, can't you come up? You're a talented storyteller. You're telling me you don't have any other in the chamber that you could go in there
He's
and make
not a
just
talented
as popular?
storyteller. That was a true story. He lived that. He has to live.
So you think that he can't come
A
up with
talented
something
storyteller is like
building
Louis
that?
C.K. or
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries is a
Where it
very
never
talented
happened, but they can,
storyteller.
put
Or
you right
embellish it, or
there. Yeah.
take a kernel of truth and turn into this whole experience that never really
talent,
happened.
man.
Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bert Kreischer's thing is he just overlaughs at everything and just puts out way too much energy.
Now you know it's so funny that dude. The most unbelievable part of this whole the trailer that I saw, because I'm not gonna see the movie, but it's so funny that somebody walks up to Bert Kreischer at some pool party that they're throwing, and they're like, "Hey, the machine," and Bert Kreischer's like, "Come on, guys, listen, I'm not working right now. Dude." That is literally what you are. You're literally the guy that won't stop telling that story, dude. I don't want to hear like you're just so annoyed of everybody asking for the machine story. Dude, I'm sorry. It killed me.
That's like if you know that guy that met the president once and he's just in a bar 50 years later hammered, like, I ever tell you when I met the president?
And then there he came. Nixon comes in with his shiny shoes.
Only 8,000 times.
You know what I mean? And you know what, dude? Honestly, it probably started off as a good story just like this, but nobody's begging Bert Kreischer to tell that story. If you know that story,
believe he
you
got a
don't
movie
need to hear
deal,
it
though.
again.
Like,
Dude,
I wonder who
imagine.
produced that.
Dude, and then they pulled Mark Hamill out of there, out of nowhere. Mark Hamill is untouchable. I mean, he's Luke Skywalker. That dude will always be
He's a
Hollywood
legend.
royalty. Yeah.
He's solidified.
Sure. And that's what he
Just
comes
like
out
Harrison
of it.
Ford, baby. Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Yeah.
What?
You know what?
2 for 2.
I always think of Adam Sandler had one good shot for Al Pacino, and he wasted him in Jack and Jill. That always bothered me. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Okay, so Adam Sandler has.
I never seen Jack and Jill.
But you've seen the trailer. It's when he has a twin sister, and she's like, "Oh,
that movie bombed.
It was horrible."
Wow.
But it's just so funny that it's like
Hiroshima.
you used your Pacino card for the biggest piece of shit ever made. You know what I mean? How did you do that? How did you say, okay, now I'm going to call him from a favor from Pacino, and I'm going to use it on Jack and Jill? Come on.
Maybe he
man.
was just so desperate because he knew the movie was going to be a giant turd and he was just trying to save it. He's just fumbling.
But he's done great movies since then.
Yeah, everyone gets one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, man. I don't want to go too hard on him. He really had a great run.
When we were all guilty of it. I'm guilty. I'm doing it right now. I'm talking shit about people. Blah. We all do it or whatever. But I never forget. Who is this perfect person out there just doing the greatest basketball player that ever lived has missed some free throws. Everyone has a bad day at the office. I don't care if you're at the pinnacle, if you're the greatest. I'm sure that Leonardo da Vinci painted a shitty painting even when he was the man.
I think we're
Dude,
careful.
who doesn't have a bad day?
I think we're careful to do that, though. I think when we do shit on something that somebody's doing, even at the Burt Kreischer thing, we began that with, listen, he's a
doesn't mean he's
guy.
a total piece of garbage and worthless or anything like that. But.
Like Brandon Schaub is not talented whatsoever, and he hangs around Joe Rogan.
No.
At least Burt Kreischer
I'll shit on Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, he used his comedy career to meet Joe Rogan. Imagine being Brandon Schaub, who used his knowing of Joe Rogan to create a career, and it's shit. It's insane, dude. It's insane. And speaking of, because it's like this whole little LA scene that they got, the whole LA comedy scene. If you know Joe Rogan, dude, it's like you have instant success.
Yeah.
So Brandon Schaub has his assistant, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a weirdo, man. So he's like a really big name on the internet right now, but what's his fool's name again? Mark Harley. And he's this like really odd looking duck. He's like super muscular. He's the long hair, the jawline that could smash walnuts. It's insane.
He literally looks just like the dude from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
If you look up Mark Harley, then next look up the guy from Flight of the Conchords. What's his name?
Dinner for
Jermaine
Schmucks,
something.
too. Yeah.
And Dinner for Schmucks. He looks just like this guy. It's hysterical.
The real life version of him. And it's funny because like, man, I mean, could you imagine living this life? Him and his old lady, they put all their toxic stuff on the internet. And I'm telling you right now, man, like,
you could tell that they just like the attention
yeah.
too. You pointed that out. Like
Yeah.
that's that couple that fights all the time but will never leave each other.
Yeah.
And they just like the toxicity and they just like the yelling and the screaming and just the vileness. There are people that just revel in that shit.
Yeah.
But how we figured it out is if you find the video online, he's attacking her. She's trying to leave, and he's attacking the car. So he's like literally lifting the back of the car. It's a tiny car, and he's like lifting up so she can't like drive away and shit. And he starts like kicking the side of the car and kicking the window. And she's playing the victim role in the front seat, and she's recording him doing it. There's a key here. She's recording him doing it. Saying, "Oh my God, he's attacking me. This and that, this and the other thing." But she has the camcorder on her phone facing her in selfie mode. So it's her and then him in the back window, and she's talking and like playing the victim the entire time while her face is on the screen when she's wearing sunglasses. If that were real, you wouldn't pull up your phone to record and then click the little switch thing and then position it just so we're both in frame. You would just be recording him for evidence sake. You wouldn't do that shit. She's an attention whore.
And at one point she went like this. She literally fixed her hair at one point and started backing up.
And also, if you're
really
pulling your
insecure
phone
for
out because you're
life-
getting attacked, you're pulling it out to call the cops, not to take video selfies.
You know what though? It's funny because
Clown.
think back to when you were a teenager and everybody knew one of those toxic relationships. They constantly fight.
Oh, we've met him a million times.
Yeah.
All of us have.
And it's funny because it's like back then you just kind of sit there and they'd be fighting and they'd like start pulling each other's hair and maybe like one would hit one another and then it was kind of like,
hitters.
oh, you fucking remember them bitches and you
Throwing
have to,
shit.
yeah, throwing shit and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, dude. There's one thing that I've learned: if that shit starts to happen, I will say something. I'd be like, fucking stop! I'm out of here, and you walk away.
I'm leaving.
Isn't that? Remember when you were a kid and like you'd be in a really bad position, you don't want to be there, but you stay. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
that,
you were
like,
paralyzed when you were a
adult
kid,
got
though.
Yeah.
Now you can just Irish goodbye that
now
shit.
you're just like, bye, boom,
Irish
done.
spaghetti, Irish goodbye.
Exactly.
Peace.
To the ability to just stand up and get the fuck out of there wasn't always a choice. When you were a kid, you'd have to stick around to see what happened.
Dude, that was the worst feeling ever when I was a kid, when my parents would be like having a knockdown, drag it out, and I'm like 8 years old. I'm tiny. I'm just hearing screaming and yelling and just vile shit. You were literally terrified. I would just turn the TV up. After a while, it's just like white noise. But I remember I would just be turning the TV up, just like.
Did they have some like real blowouts, man? Yeah.
Italians, bro.
Yeah.
My dad's from Brooklyn.
Did that ever get? I shouldn't even ask you that on here. But
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A similar situation.
I remember there was a giant hole in my dad's door, a fish-shaped hole, and I didn't understand where that came from when I was a kid. I did when I got a little older. Because my dad's a tank of a man. He's a fucking giant arms, stocky. He's that low center of gravity, just a monster, dude. He was a monster.
You know what? I'm thinking
Strong as
Italian right
shit.
now too, and I'm picturing the perfect guy right
Dude.
now. Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. My dad had those lunchbox fists. Like, he was just a stocky dude.
You know what? And people look at this like, oh, you know, it must have been crazy and stuff like that because people don't put up with that stuff anymore. I'm telling you right now, even if they passionately fight, there was like a passionate love too. And I'm not saying it's
Some
good 'cause
people.
it was bad.
There
you know
is
what
that.
I
There
mean?
is that brand.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, like your mom and dad, you
Yeah.
always tell me about that, but it sounds like they had the real thing at the end of the day.
They
Also,
did.
my grandfather and my grandfather, I come from a long lineage of lunatic men. Like, I didn't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a wild dude. He was mobbed up. He used to like run like illegal gambling and shit like that.
Running
Like,
numbers and
dude,
stuff.
The Latanza heist in Goodfellas, they sold a bunch of that jewelry out of his basement. And he had a
They
store.
fenced it there?
He had a
Jesus
store called
Christ.
Doc Sugar Bowl in Brooklyn or whatever that my great grandfather had started and my grandfather inherited. Very successful place. It was a diner. And it was a neutral zone, so there'd be like cops and wise guys, and no one talked business. Everyone just ate there and had a good time. It was like this weird neutral zone.
Yeah.
And yeah, he used to like, they fenced a lot of that jewelry out of his basement. But the point is that he was a wild, crazy maniac, and him and my grandmother, I'm sure, had a million fights like that. I mean, I've seen shit, you know what I mean? And they loved each other. She was there when he had cancer the whole way through. When he died, she was devastated. She caught him cheating on him. He was the classic guinea dude. He had a girlfriend. He bought her an apartment and would pay for the apartment and put her up or whatever.
Yeah,
The girlfriend, she called the house looking, and my dad actually blew up the spot.
his poots
My dad
on.
was like, so and so. Yeah, he was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? And then he would come home. And my grandma was like dumping clothes on the fucking driveway or whatever. All that shit.
And he's like, clean it up, and she'd come down and do it.
All that shit, man. Yeah.
Nobody took care of their community like the Italians did. I mean, you couldn't do anything
That's
better.
true.
It was a really tight thing. They
Class.
took care of their own. I will always respect that. Italian Americans came out here getting spit on and everything else.
You guys too,
They
though.
signed up- yeah, same shit.
Irish
Same
too,
shit.
man.
The Irish mafia was a little bit different, but the
just
Italians
like
really
us,
took
though,
over.
we were self-possessed and enterprising people.
Yeah.
We weren't the type to just get shit on by the system and do nothing about it. Like you guys, it's funny because you guys become cops or criminals. That's
Yeah.
it. But either way, you're kind of like in positions of authority. You know what I mean? Like you push. You guys
Yeah.
push. You're strong people.
Well, you know, it's if you're, dude, it's if you're
Never was the Irish hand out.
Yeah.
I've never seen an Irish person with their hand out ever in my life. Actually,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah. You know what I've never seen? I've never seen a Chinese homeless man.
Dude.
Have you ever seen a Chinese homeless
I've
man?
never seen
ever?
that.
And not in a movie. Have you ever seen a Chinese homeless man? I think,
Oh my god.
I think that those.
He's just doing the crane stance on,
Yeah.
on a pile of garbage.
I think they're so, you know, like trained for success and working
It's just
hard and stuff like that,
unacceptable to
that-
be anything less.
Yeah, that if they don't work hard, that they'll just keep the family will just keep them in the basement, not seen to anybody.
Well,
I've
they
never,
They
yeah.
just get him out of there.
I've driven by the Mission a million times, dude. I've never seen some Chinese dude standing out there waiting for stuff. You know,
Fair
what
point,
I mean?
man. Fair
A trip,
point.
huh? You
Yeah.
know.
That's interesting.
So that dude's ridiculous, man. Him and his old lady are doing these.
You talking about Mark? Yeah, sorry, getting back to that.
But same thing. I know we're crazy today, but same thing. You
Bear
know
with
what I
us.
mean? Yeah, it's just so ridiculous, man. And I was asking him before the show. It's like, what does it come down to? It's like, are they? You know, how much is real? Do they really feel, or do they know that they're getting more views and people get drunk off those views? Are they getting more views and
They're
more
attention
likes
whores
for it? You know what I mean?
Like we were talking about before the show, because they're older, like they're our generation, up above us, I would say, even, right? They're older than us,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. At any rate,
Not too much older, but yeah.
let's put it this way: they were putting that show on for the neighbors before there was social media, and now they're just extending it to the rest of us.
Those 20-year-olds, those newlyweds,
They're
they're
those
just
people.
kicking the shit
You
out
remember
of each
when?
other.
Because you lived in the ghetto too, right? Of
course.
I lived in a ghetto ass neighborhood out here in Las Vegas, which, by the way, doesn't sound. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's actually a lot of fun in a lot of ways. But anyway, we all had those crazy ass neighbors that would have knockdown, drag it out fights next door. You can hear them screaming like they were in your living room. You'd be eating dinner at like my house with my family, like they're at it again.
Yeah.
It was just like those people.
Yeah.
You'd see them like running outside. Fuck you! I never want to see you again. Cunt! And he gets in the car and speeds off, and then the next day they're out there like, you know, they're gardening or whatever. They're fine.
That's when you take the lights.
Hey,
and-
Steve.
Yeah, no, that's when you turn off the lights and you walk to your blinds and you barely lift. There's the very, very corner of the blind so you could see what goes on. And then he walks over and he just knocks the girl and you're just like, what just happened?
You literally see him putting on brass knuckles. And he's doing this, like just feeling it out, and just dinks her.
Dude, but you know what? There was one rule is that this has always been my rule. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of dudes that white knight for chicks and stuff like that. I'm telling you this right now. Two things could go on. You could go out there and you could, you know, stick up for some girl fighting with her dude.
Don't do that.
And if he winds up fighting you, now you're in a fight. Now you might get
Never
hurt,
do
stuff
that.
like that. You know, and let's say you do win. She's going back to him anyway.
Never, exactly.
And an even worse scenario is you go up there and you try to help her out, and then that dude knocks you out because for some reason he has some
Or she
ungodly
turns on you
strength
too.
and
I've
turns
seen
on you
all
straight
of it.
ticket. Yeah, and you just don't. So you know what you do? Honestly, this
Let her
is
get her ass whooped.
Turn your
That's
head.
what you do.
It's the one time you turn your head. If they're out there in public and she can't walk away and demand help, because if she walks away and she says, "Please help me, I'm really scared," that's totally fine. Help her out. But if they're fighting just to fight in front of you, if they're fighting with each other other, not even looking at you.
Never get
And they're
involved.
definitely going home together. Don't get involved.
Never get
You're
involved.
insane. You're insane.
She chose that guy because she's as damaged as he is in all likelihood. And it's not your business. And like you just said, almost 10 times out of 10, it's not you save them. You don't ever save.
do.
They choose.
They enjoy it.
That's not the first time
they
they
like
fought
it.
like that was that day that you saw it. Let's put it that way.
I think they really get off of that, like really like throwing shit. You know what I mean?
I feel bad for those people because it's just it's a psychological dysfunction. Everyone has damage. They're fucked up.
Don't you get addicted to like the rage aspect of it?
I'm sure.
You throw like you said with the hole in the wall and stuff like
man.
that.
You know what though? Their parents were probably like that. They were probably raised in
That's all
these
they know.
environments.
Yeah.
When you're a kid and you see that you absorb things in your subconscious when you're a kid and it normalizes things to you, and then that's why history repeats itself all the time. You have to be strong-minded enough to break those cycles and to see something different and to understand where you're going wrong. But if you were raised that way, chances are you're going to be that way. If you don't sit down and meditate and do some self-reflection and really dig down deep and think, you're going to end up just like how you were taught. That's what you're going to do. If your dad beats you, you're going to probably beat your fucking kids, man. That's probably what it's going to be.
My buddy Brandon was the first one in our group to have a car, and he comes picking up.
He was the man.
And it was a silver Honda Accord, so it was like cool, right? And it was like right when Fast and the Furious
Flux
came out,
capacitor and shit.
Yeah, dude, you know.
I don't know why it's a DeLorean to me.
No, but same shit. You know, more
You said silver and I went DeLorean.
More so Fast and the Furious. You know what I mean? Because like you know,
rice burner,
yeah,
rice rocket.
exactly. So I'm sitting in the front seat, and I was like, "Where are we going?" Like, I'm just glad to be in a car with like my buddy driving stuff. He's like, "We're gonna go pick up my homie Chad." So we go and we pick up this dude Chad, and he's like gangster, like super gangster. I'm like, what's that, man? I'm just like trying to be cool and stuff. He's like, hey, you mind if we pick my girl up? And Brendan's like, yeah, man. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this is cool, man. We're cruising and stuff. So we go over and we go to this real nice area and we pick this chick up, and she gets in the car and almost immediately starts. She's like, Chad, I'm sorry. And he's slapping the shit out of her. Now, let me tell you something.
She got in the car to get slapped.
Dude, he's literally slapping shit at her, screaming at her the entire time. And dude, as a kid, once again, listen, now I'd stop it. I'm not saying I would even fix it, but I'm saying now
I'd get out of my car.
I'd be like, get the hell out of here. Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, we drove around for the next 2 hours. This dude's just kicking the shit, just going, sorry, Chad. And we're just driving for it. And I'm telling you right now, cars weren't that cool to me after that night. I literally was like, yeah. I'm like, so this is what it is?
It ruined cars for you?
Dude,
we had cars are the shit in my world, man. We had so much fun. One of the best things ever. And like, we all did this, you know? You fucking chop a Dutch up, you get a blunt going, and you just hotbox car and just drive around in the ghetto parts of the neighborhood and just shoot the shit with your buddies.
That would be fun today.
Hit the drive-through, man.
Yeah.
It's a blast. You got music going. You're having a good-ass time. Roll the window down. The smoke just floods out. It's just fun.
Show up to a house party, do this, you know
It's
what I
fun,
mean?
dude. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Rolling with your boys was like such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Does that still happen? Or is
I
now
hope so.
everything,
I honestly don't know. I'm becoming an old man. I'm detached.
Now it's in the lobby, where it goes down is like the lobby of like Call of Duty.
Yeah, you roll with your boys on GTA Online.
Yeah. Dude, they take that serious, man. I'm telling
I'm
you,
sure
I want
they
you
do.
to play, but they take that
I do want to play
serious.
just so I can see the toxicity of this community that you
It's
keep
so
telling me about.
fantastic,
It's
man.
fantastic.
They're so awful. And anybody that plays GTA Online out there, they're so awful. Constantly, what you gonna do? I'll kill you in real life.
We're good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Just checking.
Yeah. We went off the rails. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah. We knew this was going to be a wild episode.
We
We're literally
knew it.
held together by pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
I'm still very sick.
Dude, yeah. In fact, I'm even considering after this show to, you know what I mean? Woo!
Zippy Lou?
We got it.
Zippy Lou Canoe?
We have to, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What else do we have on the docket? Did we exhaust the entire portfolio of topics?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. So we got Donald Glover that we don't care about. We got Kamaru Usman. We went through everything.
No, we didn't talk about Kamaru Usman. I went on a tangent about boxing and shit. We
Oh,
don't need
yeah.
to talk about that though. So that we all know the Kamaru Usman Leon Edwards fight. Leon Edwards won by decision this time.
Yeah.
Me and Billy think that Kamaru Usman after his knockout just isn't going to be the same anymore.
Just don't get back on.
And
the
it's
horse.
funny because Masvidal and Joe Rogan talked about that today on their show, and it's exactly what the same stuff that we were talking about, but obviously Masvidal has way more experience with it. After he got knocked out, he's like, my old school boxing coaches told me not to get back in there for a while because you have to let your not just your body heal, your psychology has to heal.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you go in there too soon before you get over it and you built your confidence back up and you worked yourself back up to that iron mind level, you're going to be hesitant to pull the trigger. Every time you get touched, you're going to be a little bit nervous. Am I going to get knocked out again? And he was exactly right. Because Kamaru Usman was a lot more tentative than he normally would have been in that fight.
Yeah. Was
And
he real tight?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could, even Masvidal, he was like, there were spots in there where normally he would step on the gas and he didn't do it. Like he was just pulling back a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. That's why I love boxing, man. I love boxing coaches and old school boxing because all that shit has been written in stone for that discipline's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, and at least
they understand that psychology element so well. Dude.
Yeah, I think the UFC guys, it really trips them out. I think it really freaks them out when they they look at the highlight and they're just sitting there.
Also, it was a bad knockout. It wasn't like he didn't get stopped or like he didn't just get rattled and did the stanky leg and then the ref jumped in. He was out cold. I think he had a fucking brain seizure, man. His eyes were like rolling. Yeah, it was bad.
And I don't want to hear that Kamaru Usman couldn't have done better in this fight, dude. Okay, yeah, they were like, it was a battle. They were killing each other and stuff like that. But think of the first fight. Kamaru Usman was like toying with Leon
and
Edwards.
The second fight.
Yes.
Up until the kick, he was literally destroying him.
The second fight too? I think, really? I didn't see the second fight yet.
It's kind of like when you watch Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, and Alex Pereira he's a lot more competitive than Leon was against Kamaru Usman. But the point is that clearly Israel Adesanya was outboxing him and out kickboxing him, and he was the more flashy fighter. He's clearly the more adept and skillful fighter. But then Alex comes in the 5th round and knocks him out. It's over. Doesn't matter. All that work he did wiped away.
I think the weirdest one that I ever seen, where I seen like literally like the downfall of a champ and it was never going to be the same again. So Anderson Silva goes in with what's his name, and he was such a fly-by-night champion. The dude who leg checked him,
Chris Weidman.
So Weidman knocks him out, and Anderson Silva, Weidman won. He throws this wild punch, and Anderson Silva's doing his thing.
Was it Chris Weidman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he knocks him out, right? And Anderson Silva's like, listen, I was joking around. I never trained for this fight. Because once again, Weidman was supposed to be some like what's his name?
Because Weidman's one that snapped his shin.
Yeah,
and then
but they fought
that happened
twice.
to Anderson later.
Yeah, they fought twice.
Okay,
so
I am remembering.
Yeah,
this right.
so
okay.
he knocks. Weidman knocks him out in the first one, and then Anderson Silva comes back and he's like, "Listen, I'm going to kill this kid." But you could tell he wasn't as loose.
Tentative.
Like he said. Yeah. So he's like, but then when he starts so he's winning. He's winning. So he starts getting real, and he starts throwing those typical Anderson leg kicks and stuff like that. And he throws this really wild kick, and Weidman does this normal run-of-the-mill default check. Boom. Hit Anderson Silva's leg, wraps around it. The bone wraps around it, flies around. Bam. The foot wiggles like this and then snaps back like a rubber band.
It was disgusting.
And he goes down. And man, dude, honestly, and right then and there, you're sitting there watching this and you think this invincible person, Anderson Silva, you thought, okay, he had a bad night with Weidman this one time.
Invincible.
Yeah, and it was over.
Nobody's invincible.
And he's never been the same.
I remember when that leg wrapped around, it was like one of those snap-on bracelets.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. Dude, it was disgusting.
Yeah. And then a couple years later, Weidman goes in there and it happens to him.
Yeah.
The same thing. His leg wraps around. What are the odds?
And then McGregor, dude, they all have that same snap. It's disgusting.
That happened to McGregor?
Yeah, that's in Dustin Poirier, second.
His leg did the bend thing?
Yeah, dude. Remember, dude, it was gross. God. You literally see it like pendulum, and then when he steps on it, it literally folds in like a V. Oh.
When he laid on his back and he was going,
Dude, cook one piece of al dente linguine and then just like let it drizzle onto the table, and that's what his leg did.
Dude, I'm telling you. And there was no worse. Oh my God, it was so cringy. Your wife was in my DMs. And Dustin Poirier's walking out this winner. He's like, okay, goodbye.
Your leg snapped
He's just laying on the ground waiting for his gurney to come in.
This isn't over.
Yeah, no, it's pretty over, bud. Man, that was bad.
Oh yeah,
dude.
tell it to your leg. It's over.
Okay, so
it's over, Jack.
All right, let me ask you this, man. Just because we'll get into this.
Yeah.
But all right, so Colby Covington, he loses to Kamaru Usman, right?
Mm-hmm. Twice.
Can he beat Leon Edwards?
Yes.
Isn't that the way?
There's no guarantee, but in my mind, he's not traumatized like Kamaru was in their second fight.
No, he wasn't, dude. No, man.
Yeah, I think he could beat him. Yeah.
Kamaru Usman's such a beast.
Yeah, he is. Dude. He's one of the best welterweights that ever lived. He was slated to go down in history as the best welterweight of all time, and arguably one of the best in all of history. He was in the GOAT conversation until that happened, until that knockout.
And one head kick.
One moment of his life, one moment in time where he dipped when he should have ducked.
Dude, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all. He zigged when he should have zagged.
And he's really good. His defense is
great.
insane.
Kamaru Usman is a consummate professional, a tremendous fighter with excellent technique, a wonderful guy. He's a great champion, man. But Dude, no one's impervious. Look at my guy, my Roy Jones Jr. No one's impervious.
I hated him on The Ultimate Fighter, though.
Everyone hated him at first when he was
Yes.
Marty. Before you saw his true character, he was
Yeah.
annoying. He was a weird guy.
And then Anthony Rumble Johnson comes in to meet the guys, and everybody got up to shake his hand, and Kamaru Usman with a hat on in bed because that
Marty.
he puts his hat.
I can't help it. Every time
it is too funny,
just
dude.
makes me happy.
It is so funny. Remember the same night that we did that? It was hilarious. And Kamaru Usman won't get out of bed. It's like 8:00 at night. And Anthony Johnson's there. He's like literally saying hello to everybody. Like, dude, honestly, how about this? Not even as a champ, not even if you respect him as a champ. How about just an individual coming over to say hello to you guys? You
Like,
don't
how about
get
as a
out of
human
bed.
being?
Yeah, dude, could you imagine how uncomfortable that'd be? Just laying there looking at somebody like, "What up?" It's
Weird.
like, yeah, it's weird. It's awkward on all of us. And I always thought, oh, that guy's a dick. I thought in my head,
He was a dick sometimes. At that point, he was a dick. Like, he was a dick right then. He was hated for a long time.
And I said to myself, I said, you know what? I said, that dude ain't gonna do nothing. I said, guys like that always have like some short-lived career.
It's Kamaru Usman.
Yes,
of
dude,
all
I'm
people.
horrible at calling this stuff, dude. I'm telling you, dude. I also thought that what's his name from The Ultimate Fighter that did like the most brutal head kick, the Jamaican cat. Remember he fought Josh Salmon?
I see.
Anyways.
So I wasn't a fan back then.
Oh, okay. So he does it.
I missed a lot of that.
And then I go, that's going to be I said, that dude's going to be like the biggest, Uriah Faber, or Uriah Hall. I said, that's going to be Uriah Hall's going to be one of the biggest.
He's still fighting, yeah?
Yeah, but he's not.
He never made it to that
What
point.
I thought he was going to be, when I saw him, I'm like, dude, this guy's an action figure. Like his body was ridiculous.
Dude.
He's super quick. Dude, on The Ultimate Fighter, he blew through everything, wound up losing in the end, but it was like that's a weird fight.
He still had it, like-
he fought like 3 times in a month. You know what I mean? Like, of course you might be off, you know? Yeah, man, I don't know. I can't call it. It's weird. I always, if you want somebody to win, just let me bet against.
I just have my bookie just like queued up. I'm
Yeah.
like, Billy, who do you got tonight?
Yeah, who's your picks tonight?
Do the
That-
opposite.
I'm telling you, I'm Eddie Mush, dude.
be rich.
I swear, dude, I'm
Eddie
Eddie
Mush.
Mush, man. I don't
Put
want
him in the bathroom.
Throwing him in the bathroom. Yeah.
I don't want his face looking at my dice. The best coffee cake's no good.
Yeah, coffee cakes. I don't want that face looking at this face. Put a towel over his head. Come on, Sonny. I don't want to
Get a
wear a
towel from
towel
the
on my
bar.
head. Throw him in the fucking bathroom.
Put him in the bathroom.
Jimmy Whispers.
The best, dude.
Sonny. Those
Sometimes,
two guys.
get the papers.
Yeah.
Get the papers. No, that wasn't.
No, that was
That was
Goodfellas.
thank you. But
Yeah.
no, the best, my favorite ever is just coffee cake's no good.
Yeah.
So all right. So those of you that haven't seen the movie Bronx Tale, classic. First of all,
Most
watch
wonderful
it.
movie, yeah.
Chaz Palminteri, one of the greatest roles of all time. Calogero, they're gambling dice in the basement, right? Illegal dice, they're shooting the dice against the wall. Everyone's huddled up. They're in their suits. They're laying cash down. And Chaz Palminteri's very superstitious. So there's a guy that's in the crew. They call him Coffee Cakes because he has these giant potholes in his face, just fucking hideous, right?
Yeah.
He's just an ugly dude, his moon face. And he's sitting there, he's getting ready to, he has a Calodro, the kid that he's grooming to roll the dice. He thinks the kid is lucky. It's great. And before he goes to roll the dice, when all the money's down, he just looks at him, he just goes, coffee cake's no good.
Yeah.
He just points right, he's like, I don't want his face looking at my dice. And he just keeps stuffing people in the bathroom that he thinks are
Jojo the
bad
Whale,
luck.
Eddie Mush, and coffee cakes. He had a morbidly obese and 2 older men sitting in the bathroom, and the respect that he had, nobody questioned it. Yeah.
Sonny had 5 fingers, but he only used 3. He points.
He was so good, man. God, he was so
That's what
good.
that's who his nephew is named after. That's the most gangster ass name ever.
Yeah.
That's a great one, by the way.
Isn't that cool?
Good for you,
Isn't that
Ginger.
cool? Yeah, man.
Good for you, Ginger.
My favorite part of A Bronx Tale is when so his friends, you could basically, it comes down to, the
door test?
Yeah, he had 2 Mario. No. So he has 2 father figures in his life. He has Sonny, who's all about the streets, who's giving him the street knowledge,
Mob
stuff like
boss.
that. And then he has his dad, who's like your blue collar
Bus
working
driver.
guy, bus driver, And so he's getting a double education. That's like a big part of the movie, getting a double education and becoming smart, becoming better than everybody. But he still has his criminal friends. Like, these guys are all slated to be in prison. Like, all of them are monsters. And my favorite part is when they were buying guns in the alley, and Slick looks down at somebody and grabs the gun. And he goes, I want to fucking shoot somebody. You know what I mean? And his buddy, you
yeah.
expect somebody to calm him down. His buddy's like, you know what? I want to shoot somebody too. And that looks just like the gun to do it.
Yeah.
Dude, they were monsters, dude. Oh my God.
That's
man.
a great movie.
That's Chaz Palminteri's life. He was that kid. Him and Robert De Niro both date black women. He was that kid. He was Calogero.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
That's why Chaz is short for some crazy name.
Also, a little fun fact movie trivia for those of you that care. it was originally supposed to be reversed. De Niro was supposed to play Sonny, and then Chaz Palminteri was supposed to play the dad and the bus driver. But he did such a good job. I guess I don't know if it was in casting or whatever it was that they were like. De Niro
Are
was
you
like,
glad it happened like that?
Yeah, he was like, "You're the mob boss. I'll be the bus driver."
Dude, and you know,
great movie.
It's so funny. Like we don't like De Niro anymore just because of his attitude, and not only that, the shit movies. I don't know why he started doing comedies. It's so odd. But anyways,
I like Meet the Parents.
Dude, he was But dude, it was because you never see him in those movies.
I also like analyze this, and I like analyze that. But yeah, no, he's not a stand-up.
No, dude. All he does now is funny movies and stuff like that. And I'm telling you right now, dude. Honestly, Robert De Niro is one of the most biggest drama, one of the most amazing actors to ever live. And I think like he could still do that. He could still be doing those movies.
The Irishman.
But he does Dirty Grandpa and stuff.
You know what, man? This might be blasphemy, and I was really excited because I'm a Scorsese
hated The
fanatic.
Irishman.
I'll never watch
it.
I had it on my watch list on Netflix when it came out. I was all excited about it. You got the old cast back together. You got Jimmy Norton plays a bit part as Don Rickles. Big fan of Jimmy Norton. Obviously, he was on the O&A show
played
too.
Rickles in that?
He was Rickles in
that's
that, man.
great.
Yeah, and I think Sebastian Maniscalco was in that too, if I'm not mistaken. He had a bit part in it, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
I never watched it.
But I got all excited about it, and I never watched it. And for some reason, it just doesn't appeal to me. It looks boring. It just looks boring.
In the first 10
3 hours,
yeah, Pacino's in it too. In the first 10 minutes, I remember sitting at my TV, and I'm not even joking with you. I was literally weirded out at what I was watching. I'm sitting there watching, and Robert De Niro, it plays his whole life up into an old man. Well, Robert De Niro's an old man right now. So what they did was they use Hollywood magic, and they made him young Robert De Niro.
Youngified.
So his daughter, he has like a 5-year-old daughter, and it's like Robert De Niro is like 90 now, and he has a 5-year-old daughter, and she says that the guy at the store like grabbed her arm or something like that. So he's like, and he's a head buster, so that's his like whole thing. He's like total enforcer. So he goes down to the store and he starts beating this guy up. And I'm telling you right now, the guy's going and like taking these huge shots.
There's no power in those shots.
He was barely moving. He's going. And then the kick was even worse. He didn't kick. He couldn't stand on one leg and I'm not even mad at him. He's an old man. He shouldn't be able to do this. He's not limber.
But don't shoot that scene.
No.
I get what they were going for, though. I get why Scorsese wanted that scene. And you know why it is. Because when he was in The Godfather, when he beat the shit out of him and threw the trash can on him.
That wasn't him.
No, it was James Caan. Oh, my! I thought they were trying to reenact that.
No.
Fuck, I got that way wrong.
No, it's all good. No, but you're absolutely right. He wanted a scene like the Sonny scene. But here's the thing, what it comes down to, dude. Get a body double. Dude, honestly, Robert De Niro, if he is which he should be, if he is the professional, you walk up and you go, Rob, listen, or Bob.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, they call him Bob.
Come here.
And you say, dude, listen, this doesn't look good. We can't do this. Like, we're professionals. Why don't we get a dude from the back? We'll have him throwing the kicks. It'll be you doing a close-up or something like that. And it could have been done any other way. Instead, they chose to
laughing stock.
like feed his ego, like dare, like mess with Robert De Niro's acting and stuff like that. And I know it would be a tough conversation, but dude, it looked horrible. And
I'm glad I didn't see it
then.
then.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Fucking
man.
cold water on my face. Fuck that. It's garbage. Should we go to the outro video?
We should, because we
All right,
got a
guys.
good one today. This is one of our favorites.
Again, we're doubling back for another episode tomorrow, so we will be back with some more quality content.
Yes.
All right, so on this video, again, my favorite line, an oldie but a goodie.
Yes.
So as you know at this point in time, if you've been watching for any length of time, that we love street justice. We like it when people who are acting out in public get their comeuppance.
Yes.
And what that means is they either get slapped, punched, or something bad happens to them from a regular civilian. So in this video, again, old one, you've probably seen it. If not, it's great. It's about 10, 15 years old. This lady was harassing this bus driver endlessly.
So bad.
We cut out the beginning where she's just harassing him forever because it's just a while of her like poking at him and, just talking shit and calling him names and all this. Well, she finally touches him, and that gives him the go-ahead to haul off and smash this girl. And this guy could throw a punch. This is when we were talking about a few episodes back. He uppercuts her, and I think he knocks her out because her head flies back. And as she's falling, somehow he gets her. He grabs her like a duffel bag and he just launches her off the bus. But the whole time he's walking towards her, he's going, "You're going to jail now. You're going to jail now." And when you hear this punch land, like listen for it, it's brutal.
And whether you agree or not with how he handled
love this guy.
people need to keep their hands to themselves. And this chick broke that rule, and that was it. Goodbye.
Again, if you want to go and look at the whole video, she had it coming. Man.
She did. Of course she did. Dude's trying to get her to where she's going, and she's just monster, just messing with him. Come on now.
Hey, is this on? The display capture? Hold on a second. Hold on. Whoa.
And that was a great video. And then we pretend like it just happened.
I think I need to get rid of this and then add it back real quick. We're doing this mid-recording.
All good.
Sorry, we had to do an update on the OBS software, and I had
Yeah.
to reset everything back up, and apparently it didn't import my display capture.
We had to
which is-
retweak everything. Well, he had to. Yeah.
the thing that I use so you can see the screen. Okay,
Oh,
there
there
we
it
go.
goes.
Yeah, we just need to bring it down now. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so to the video. Up, up, and away. I need to make this bigger too.
Whoa.
Boop. All right, we're back. And we're back. Yeah, this is too high. We look fucking weird. All right. Bus beating, ladies and gentlemen.
Street Justice 101.
I'm going to let this beginning intro play so that it
Yeah,
buffers
so they
up.
get the idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love this guy. Again, a hero. Punches the
Full
shit
force.
out of her.
Oh my God, that noise.
Do you see him launch her?
Yes,
Do you see how he
goodbye.
launches her off the bus? The best is it's like world star.
Good. Absolutely good.
And he launches her luggage off. It's hilarious.
Did she come back for it?
Oh, he didn't knock her out.
Dude, she has a hell of a chin. Oh, and now they all
She
go
still
after
tries?
him. Yeah. No, that was her friend. That's
Oh.
ridiculous, man.
Didn't you see what he just did?
Yeah. That's ridiculous, man.
She gets weaved. He pulls the weave. Oh my god.
What about his justice? Why is she allowed
he
to
got
do? Yeah.
he got his justice.
Sure, dude,
We're,
but-
we're gonna watch this one more. Like,
Yeah.
let's watch this without talking at all,
Okay.
so you can hear the fucking punch.
Oof.
I can't.
Good God.
The launch off the bus.
I don't understand how anybody could paint him as the problem. I don't understand it.
He's
man.
not the problem. In what world? Like again, like if
No,
go.
but did you hear the news lady? And he punched her full force. What
Yeah,
was he
hell
supposed to
yeah,
do?
he
Was
did.
he what? You're supposed to punch half force because what? Why?
I'm telling you, go watch the long version. That guy took harassment for a long time before
Isn't
that
the
happened.
original
And
video like 5 minutes?
It's forever. And she's
Yeah.
like over him and he's sitting down just trying to do his job. She's talking shit and pointing at him. And then she touches him and that was it. That was it.
Keep your hands to yourself. You kidding me, man?
Street justice.
Go to any random person on the
Justice.
street without like filming and poke them and see how that turns out for you. It's not going to turn out good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Why does he need to put up with it? Why? Because he drives the bus.
Nah,
he
fuck
needs
that.
to. He's on the clock, dude.
He
oh
did
my
exactly the right thing.
Yeah.
He should have hit her with both hands. He should have followed up after the uppercut with the left hook. Bop, just make sure the job was done like Deontay Wilder did to Tyson Fury, but he rose from the dead.
That really kills me that people think because somebody's on the clock that, like they're supposed to just,
That guy was a gentleman for like 10 minutes.
Yes, he was, man.
So
He told her to take her seat like 11 times.
Yeah.
You go sit down, get out of my face. And you know what? I mean, he's a human. He has a threshold.
So this has been another episode of Street Justice. That's a nice little segment we got going on.
We love
Oh
that.
yeah, again, guys, we're gonna be working on a bunch of new things moving forward in the future. We're gonna have some segments coming in, and hopefully we get that done in the not too distant future. A lot of work to do. We're still coming back. Like he's still settling in with the kid and his sister and everything. I'm still getting over being sick. We're still gonna be putting out episodes, but there will be new things coming soon.
Yes, we got a bunch of content coming this week.
Bunch of content coming this week. Also, free Andrew Tate. That man is still in jail wrongfully. Things are not going the way that they should go. Free the top G. Shout out to him every single time. Tristan Tate as well, and all his friends and family, everyone that's involved in this sham kangaroo court case. I hope
top
someone
G.
does something to get this man out of there and like more attention gets drawn to it. I know most of the world hates him. That's no reason to take away civil rights and human rights, and that could happen to you if it can happen to him. So be careful with that shit, slippery slope. Free Andrew Tate. Free top G. Should I take us out?
Yeah, but wait. If this is a nothing burger though, and they have no case, and he did all this time for no reason.
But it's
why?
crazy that like more people aren't yelling and screaming and mad. Like it's clearly
Nothing
a sham.
new has even come forward, and I promise you, if they did have
You
like
can't let
breakthroughs,
them get
they
away with
have
this.
it. Yeah, they
You
use
can't-
it.
You know what? You can't let them get away with this because if they just take this guy and throw him in jail unjustly and keep him there and have him killed or literally just let him spend his years out there, whatever the fuck it is, and we don't do anything, you're sending them a message that they can do this now.
Yeah.
They can just do this and nothing will happen. So it's imperative that we set a standard here with this one. Love him, hate him, it doesn't matter. He happens to be the guy in this situation at this time, and we cannot let this go unchecked. So I, for one, will not let it go unchecked. I'm going to keep speaking up. Free Andrew Tate, Free Top G. Let that man go. Give us justice. Fuck that shit. Present something, charge him, or let him go. All right?
Boom.
Free Top G.
Take us out, Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 21 of the Irish Spaghetti Podcast. We've had a blast serving you guys, entertaining you guys. We enjoy what we do. Remember, always remember, have your conversations, not their conversations. Turn off the TV. Talk to your fellow men and women. Get back into your community. God bless. We'll see you on the next one tomorrow. Caw-caw. Caw-caw.